What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Huge thank you to Josh Brown over at Stohlman Subaru of Sterling, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular Crosstrek or any Subaru product, I'll be sure to have Josh's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. Well, thanks to fall and daylight savings time, I only have about an hour of sunlight left, so I'm going to try to get through this part of the video as quickly as I can while still giving you all the necessary information that you are looking for. So, just like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So, like I said, this is a 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness, and this particular one has been painted in geyser blue. I wanted to preface this video by saying 2024 is the first year of the Wilderness to the Crosstrek lineup, and it is basically the off-road oriented Crosstrek. So if you're going to be going on gravel roads, you're going to be driving through mud, driving over rocks and stuff like that, well, then the Wilderness might be the trim level for you. However, if you're looking for something better on-road, got a little bit better handling and, more of a sporty appearance, then you might want to look into getting either the Sport or the Limited. But anyways, moving on from there, at the top of your hood, you get this satin black hood graphic that basically signifies that this is a Wilderness. So you will find this satin black hood graphic on a Forester Wilderness, on an Outback Wilderness, and obviously here with the Crosstrek Wilderness as well. But one thing I wanted to mention is that if you are not a fan of this satin black hood graphic, you can take a heat gun and a little bit of time and you can peel this thing off, because again, it's just basically a satin black piece of vinyl. So if you don't like it, you can take it off. Just thought I'd mention that. But coming down to our headlights, as standard with the Wilderness, you get LED steering responsive headlights with automatic high beams, as well as LED daytime running lights, LED turn signals, and LED fog lights. But now, taking a step back, this is what the front end of the Wilderness looks like. So you may be able to see, you get a Wilderness specific satin black front grille with your Subaru logo located at the center of the grille. You can kind of see those two X's both there and there. This looks very different than what you get on either the Sport or the Limited. The Sport and the Limited's grille are pretty much the exact same, but you can see the Wilderness has a drastically different front grille as opposed to those two other trim levels. And then one thing that's also drastically different is your satin black front bumper. This looks very different than what you get on the Limited and or the Sport, as well as the base. But you can see you get a satin black front bumper with those two integrated tow points. So let's say you get stuck in some mud or something like that, you get stuck in a snowbank. Basically, you can pop these two pieces off and you can screw your tow hook in there, and basically you're securing the tow hook to a structurally sound piece of the vehicle. So you're not going to rip off your bumper or anything like that, because those 2 points are literally designed to take the load of being yanked out of a mud hole or something like that. But one thing I wanted to mention is that these copper trim pieces are basically, again, what makes the Wilderness the Wilderness. You will find these same colors on the Forester Wilderness, on the Outback Wilderness, and I thought I might just point that out. But you can see the bumper looks very different. You can see you almost get like a bumper cutout right here for a little bit more of clearance, but you can see it also kind of has that piece right there. So it kind of doesn't make sense to have that bumper cutout other than a stylistic trait. And then with the Wilderness, you get an aluminum skid plate, but what's interesting about that aluminum skid plate is that it's very small. It's almost useless, I guess you could say, in a way. And then another thing is that with the Wilderness, you get a 0.6 inch lift for a total ground clearance of 9.3 inches. And you get that lift through the suspension. Basically, you get taller springs as compared to the ones that you find on the base, Sport, or the Limited. And then up here at the front, you get a 20-degree approach angle, which is quite different than what you get on either, again, the Limited or the Sport and or the base. But coming down the side, you get these satin black wheel arch moldings, and then coming down, these are the Wilderness specific wheels, and they are a 17-inch matte black wheel wrapped in 225/60 Yokohama Geolandar all-terrain tires. I'll give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires here real quick. That is what those beefy, aggressive tires look like. Those are your taller springs up in there. And then here's a closer view at the wheel face with the Wilderness. As standard with the Wilderness, you get a windshield wiper de-icer as well as satin black mirror caps with integrated turn signals. These side view mirrors are also heated, manual folding, and you will find your blind spot monitoring on the inside of your driver's side mirror as well as on the inside of your passenger side mirror, located about right there. However, This Wilderness has been optioned with the $695 Crosstrek mirror package, which gives you the auto dimming exterior mirrors with the approach light. So let's say you have somebody behind you at night, they got their high beams on. Basically, both of the side view mirrors will auto dim to make it a little bit easier for you to see ahead at night again if somebody's behind you with their high beams on. And then you also get the approach light. The approach light is essentially a puddle light. But taking a step back, I'm going to show you a little side profile of the Crosstrek Wilderness. That is what she looks like here on the side. Now, starting at the top, you get these black raised ladder type roof rails. Here's a closer view of what they look like. You can see you get the copper accenting on the roof rails, again, to signify that this is a Wilderness. And then you also get a 700-pound static load capacity. So if you wanted to put a rooftop tent on the top of your Crosstrek Wilderness, you could. Now, taking a step back just a little bit, you get that black window trim. You also get body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind, the keyless access function is only on your front 2 door handles. The rear 2 door handles do not get that keyless access function. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get the Wilderness badging on your front 2 doors only. That's what that looks like there. And then you also get satin black door cladding with the copper Crosstrek lettering that you will find only on your front 2 doors. There's a closer view of what that looks like. Taking a step back, you can see that satin black starts at the front and works its way to the back with the wheel arch moldings with the door cladding. And then up top here, you get a satin black shark fin antenna. You get a body color roof spoiler. You have your integrated third brake light back here as well. You get a rear window defroster. You get your single speed rear wiper back here. You get a black taillight bezel. And then here is a rear 3/4 shot of what it looks like here from the rear 3/4 angle. And then coming around back, here's the little booty shot of the Crosstrek Wilderness. You can see you have your Subaru logo located at the center of your hatch. And coming down just a little bit, you have your backup camera. And then just to the right of the backup camera, you'll feel a little pad. And if you pull up on that pad, you have access into your manual lift gate. So this is a manual lift gate. This is not a power lift gate. And then this is the amount of space that you get here in the trunk. You can see as standard, you get this cargo cover. You also get a light on the driver's side of the trunk. This vehicle has been optioned with the $101 second row sunshade, and that is what these are in here. So that's what's in that box. And then you also get this rubberized floor mat. It says Subaru Wilderness on it. You get 4 grocery bag hooks back here. 1, 2, 3, and 4 on that side. And then if you lift up underneath here, you'll find a spare tire. You get your spare tire, you get your jack, you got your tow hook, and it is a temporary spare tire, so it is not a full-size spare tire. But I would say you can, one thing I also wanted to mention is that you can fold these second row seats down by pushing on that. Then you get an additional, 3.5, 4 feet of storage space with those second row seats down. Yeah, that's kind of about it for what we got going on back here. I'd say you could probably fit maybe 5 or 6 carry-on suitcases back here, but not much more than that. Then you also get a light here on your hatch, and it is LED. But closing that back up, you can see you get your satin black badging on the lower left-hand side of your liftgate, and then you have your Subaru Wilderness badging on the lower right-hand side of your manual liftgate. But coming down just a little bit more, you can see you get a satin black rear bumper, and you get a 33-degree departure angle. You also get 4 parking sensors back here, as well as 2 reflectors. You get another 2 integrated tow hooks or tow points, and again, they are behind those copper accent pieces. You also get the Subaru stamp, which I'm gonna have to lift up the D tag so you can see the Subaru stamped into that rear bumper. And then you also get a 411 rear axle ratio and a max tow capacity of 3,500 pounds, which is due to an upgraded radiator fan and an upgraded oil cooler. I believe the other Crosstrek trim levels, I believe the max tow capacity of them is 1,500 pounds or 2,000 pounds. I can't remember the exact number, but I'll put it on screen. But this is, plenty more or much more capable than the Sport, than the Limited when it comes to towing capacity. So you could literally pull a couple jet skis, you could pull a small boat, you could pull a small little camper. So, if you're looking for a compact SUV that is relatively capable off-road, but also capable when it comes to towing, then you might want to look at the Wilderness. But anyways, with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2.5 liter naturally aspirated boxer 4-cylinder that makes 182 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a Lineartronic continuously variable transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 8.1 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 25 miles per gallon in the city, 29 miles per gallon on the highway for 27 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive. And in my opinion, I think those fuel economy numbers are pretty dang good, especially considering that rear axle ratio. A 411 rear axle ratio, you'd expect it to get quite a bit worse fuel economy on the highway. However, it does pretty decent, and it is, relatively quick. Don't expect it to be the fastest thing on the road. Don't expect it to be fast by any means, but it'll get you where you need to go, and it'll be a little bit quicker than the Sport as well as the Limited. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get to my goal without your support. I put a lot of time and love into making these videos, so if you enjoyed this video, if you've learned anything from this video so far, please just take 1 second, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. The likes and comments in particular look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps me grow, so I'd appreciate it if you would do those things. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access, so all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, put your hand behind the door handle, and the vehicle will unlock. You can also lock the vehicle by running your finger across these two lines right here, and now the vehicle is locked. 2 beeps signifies that it is unlocked, 1 singular beep signifies that it is locked, and now I want to walk you through what the key fob looks like as well as the functions on the key fob. So key fob majority is satin black, and then you get some satin chrome on the outsides of it. And then starting from the top, you have your lock function. The Subaru logo is your unlock function. This basically just like pops open your hatch. It's kind of like a useless button. And then all the way at the bottom, you have your panic function. But now let's take a look at what the interior looks like. So with the Wilderness, just like the Outback and just like the Forester, you get the StarTex trimmed upholstery. So it's basically a water repellent upholstery. So that is what all of this gray is right here. Then you get some of that copper accent colored stitching. You get some faux carbon fiber trim around your satin black door handle. Here are your power side view mirror controls, your unlock and your lock functions. You get automatic up and down windows in the front, but you do not get automatic up or down windows in the back. This button right here is going to restrict your passenger window privileges. Then you got a spot you can set your phone on your door panel as well. And then you get a nicely padded armrest with some copper accent colored stitching, a spot you could set a Deer Park water bottle or a water bottle, and then you get a little bit of miscellaneous storage space. And last but not least, you get a speaker on the door. However, this one has the standard sound system. If you wanted the Harman Kardon sound system, you would have to look into getting the $2,270 option package 23, which would give you the Harman Kardon sound system, the power driver seat, and the sunroof. So with that in mind, you get a manually adjustable driver seat and a manually adjustable front passenger seat. Taking a look at the seats themselves, again, this is the StarTex upholstery. You can see you get that Subaru Wilderness embossed into the headrest. I think that looks pretty sweet. And then you get the copper accent colored stitching going on the outsides of the bolsters of the seat. And then I really like the two-tone gray and the black. I think it looks pretty cool. And then again, those are your seat controls. But now, stepping on into the interior, as standard with the Wilderness, you get these all-weather floor mats that say or have the Subaru Wilderness logo on them. I think that's pretty sweet. But now, stepping on into the interior, I'm gonna fire this thing up and let's take a listen to it. That is what it sounds like when you fire this thing up here from the interior. But now I'm just gonna walk you throughout the entire interior. So coming over to here, this is to brighten and or dim your gauge cluster as well as your backlit buttons. Coming over to here, when you flip that down, that gives you access into your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. So you can bring the steering wheel towards you, you can push it away from you, and you can also move it up and down to your liking. Now let's take a listen to our turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like on this vehicle. And not only is this your turn signal control stock, this is also your high beam control stock, your headlight control stock, and your fog light control stock. So right now I am in the headlights off position. This is headlights automatic, parking lights on, and then all the way up top is headlights in the always on position. Then that is fog lights on, that is fog lights off. However, let's say I have my headlights in the automatic position and my headlights are not actually on, even though they are in the automatic position, and I have my fog lights in the on position. The fog lights are not actually going to be on until the headlights turn on. So right now I have the headlights in the automatic. The headlights are actually on, excuse me, and the fog lights are on because the headlights are on, if that makes sense. But Zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel with some of that copper accent colored stitching on the inside of the steering wheel. You get that copper accent colored trim piece at the bottom of the steering wheel. And just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center. So let's take a listen to it. That's what the horn sounds like on the Crosstrek Wilderness. Now, also on the back sides of your steering wheel, you have your upshift and your downshift paddles. So upshift on the right, downshift on the left, and then you have your windshield wiper control stalk on the right-hand side of your steering column. Zooming back out, let's walk throughout the controls on the steering wheel, shall we? So this is to go forwards and or backwards on a track. This is to switch you between your different audio sources. These arrows as well as this button are all to control your productivity screen. This is to pick up on a phone call. This is to mute the audio system as well as hang up on a phone call. This is to speak to the vehicle, and then here are your volume controls. Then on the right-hand side of the steering wheel, the Wilderness comes standard with adaptive cruise control. So here are your adaptive cruise control settings / driver assistance settings. And then also with the Wilderness, you get SI drive, which is basically your sport and your intelligent drive modes. Intelligent is basically like your normal mode. But moving into our gauge cluster, you can see the gauges are outlined by that copper color. I think that's pretty cool, and that is Wilderness specific. Tachometer on the left, as well as your coolant temperature gauge is also on the left. And then your speedometer is on the right, and then you have your fuel gauge also on the right. And then this lets you know that your fog lights are on. That lets you know your headlights are on. Up top here, you have your instant fuel economy stuff. So let's say I'm coasting down a hill. See that white? That is going to come over to this side, signifying that I'm getting better fuel economy. Minus sign, bad fuel economy. Plus sign, good fuel economy. This is the average fuel economy as of right now. This is the fuel range. That's the digital speedometer readout. That is the trip B information. That is your odometer. And then over here, that's letting us know that we are in the intelligent drive mode. That is the transmission status stuff. And again, to control that screen, you have these arrows right here. So basically I'm gonna click up. Now it's the time and the ambient exterior temperature. Then you get your audio stuff. You get your tire pressure monitoring stuff. This is basically, let's say you're on a trip, right? It's gonna count how long the auto stop start system has had the vehicle off for and how much fuel it has saved with the auto stop start system on that trip. And then you get your analytical data, some more analytical data, fuel range, and so on and so forth. This is the screen that I personally like. And then moving on from there, you can see you have your trip reset button over here. So you can see you have 120.6 miles right there. If I press and hold on that, those numbers will reset back down to 0. Moving over to here, I wanted to mention you get 4 HVAC vents on the dash, and then I'm gonna walk you throughout the physical controls first, and then I'm gonna walk you throughout the screen. So this is your hazard button. This is your volume control knob. However, you can also mute the audio system by just clicking on it, and then if you press and hold on this, this is going to turn this screen off. But I don't wanna do that, so if I press and hold on that again, it's gonna cancel that. And then you have your front defroster, driver temperature controls, passenger temperature controls, rear defroster. You get your tuning control knob here, and if you press and hold on that, that will bring you into your tone settings for your bass, your mid, your fader, so on and so forth. Bass, mid, treble, balance, fader, vocal image control, and that's it for that. Now, moving into the screen, this is your Starlink 11.6-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. So at the top of the screen, you have your ambient exterior temperature as well as the current time. And then you can adjust what you see up top here on this screen. So this is basically your audio stuff. Clicking over to the right will bring you into your water temperature, your oil temperature, and your average speed. Then you have your weather stuff. And then over here you have your X mode. So basically you get dual X mode with the Wilderness. X mode basically, you know, messes with the throttle response, the transmission shifting abilities, and so on and so forth. So basically snow and dirt, you're gonna get less throttle response. It's gonna focus more on where it's sending power with the all-wheel drive system. And basically the same thing with like the deep snow / mud stuff. So basically it optimizes the all-wheel drive system as well as the throttle response and the transmission, depending on which mode you're in. But coming back down, this is what your home screen looks like. You can see all of the different widgets here. Swiping over, this is going to turn the display off. You also have your valet mode, the auto vehicle hold. The auto vehicle hold is basically when you activate that button right there. Let's say you're tired of holding your foot down on your brake in traffic. You activate that, and then the vehicle will hold you in place by itself with its braking system when that button is activated. That is to turn your traction control system on or off, and then that add shortcut button is basically going to add another one of these buttons. Back into that home screen, you get your instant Apple CarPlay button right there, brings you into that screen. And then down here, if you click on this, then you have your vehicle control screen. You can go throughout all of those different things. Then you have your driver assistance screen. Then you have your more settings over there. This is your home button. This is to turn your auto stop start system on or off. This will pop up your phone list. So right now my phone is connected. And then this is basically your driver profile stuff. So right now I don't have a driver profile. I don't own this vehicle, so I'm not gonna set that up. But coming down just a little bit more, if you click on this, that's gonna pop up the climate control throughout the entire screen. That's what that looks like. However, the majority of the time, this is the climate control stack. So if you want the entire screen to be climate control, you click right here, and then that brings up the entire screen climate control. But coming down, you get a USB-A port, a USB-C port, an auxiliary jack, and as standard with the Wilderness, you get a wireless charging pad. Like mentioned, I have an iPhone 14 Pro Max, and my iPhone 14 Pro Max fits in that wireless charging pad, no problem down there. But back a little bit, you do also get a leather wrapped shift knob. So if you wanted to go into manual mode, you'd have to go into drive, flip this over to the left, and now you can control the transmission with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. I'm gonna go back into park. Pull up on this, that's going to engage your electronic parking brake. Like I mentioned, you get heated front seats as standard. You get 2 levels of adjustability, both high and low. Then coming back a little bit more, you get 2 cup holders as well as a 12-volt power outlet and a little bit of miscellaneous storage space back here. Right now I have my windsock back there. But coming over to here, you get a StarTex wrapped armrest that is nicely padded, and you get some copper accent colored stitching. Opening this thing up, I'd say you get about a foot of depth down in there, but no connectivity down in there or no lights or anything like that, but you can fit what you need to down in there. Closing that back up, that is what the dash looks like on the passenger side. You get basically some gray vinyl / plastic type of materials, some faux carbon fiber trim. You do not get a lockable glove box, but good amount of storage space in the glove box down in there. You could fit your owner's manual, your napkins, your straws, you know, the essentials. Closing that back up top here, like I mentioned earlier in the video, this vehicle's been optioned with the $695 Crosstrek mirror package, which gives you the auto dimming exterior mirrors with the approach light. I can probably get the approach light to pop on right now. So that is the approach light. But closing that back up, also included in that package is this auto dimming rear view mirror with the compass and the home link. So you can see the compass up top there, the mirror auto dims, and then you also get the home link, which is your universal garage door opener. So if you own a house with 3 different garage bays, you can open up those 3 different garage bays individually with these 3 different buttons down here. And then this is to turn your auto dimming mirror on or off. Personally, I don't understand why you would turn it off, but up top here, that lets you know if your passenger airbag is on or off. You got your roadside assistance stuff up top there. Driver gets a light, passenger gets a light, both of which are halogen. You can upgrade those to LED. And then this is basically the setting whether you want the lights to turn on or not when you open up the door. So when you flip it to the left, when I open up the door, the lights will not turn on. If I flip it to, or excuse me, when you flip it to the right, when I open up the doors, the lights will not turn on. If I flip it to the left, now when I open up the door, the lights will turn on. So that is that. And then coming over to here, you get a vanity mirror with a vanity light, and the visor itself does not slide, so it's fixed. However, you can slide this piece out. So when the sun is in like that awkward position here, slide that out and then it's gonna block the sun. Personally, I like a visor that actually slides rather than the sliding piece, but it is what it is. And then you also have this little band right here that you could set your registration, money, or anything like that. Then on the driver's side, you get an OPU panel, which is definitely refreshing to see. And then the visor on that side looks the exact same as the visor here on the driver's side. And then you also get an OPU panel on the passenger side as well. And that really kind of about does it for what we got going on here in the front seats. But I wanted to mention what you get as standard with this vehicle. So as standard, you get the adaptive cruise control system with lane centering assist. You also get automatic emergency steering, heated front seats, the wireless charging pad, the dual zone climate control system, as well as the EyeSight driver assistance system, which I'll put on screen what you get with that right now. And then I wanted to also say with the Wilderness, you get SI drive. You also get the dual X modes and hill descent control. I believe hill descent control, you have to be going under 12 miles per hour. And then one option you might want to look into getting, it's really the only package you can get on the Wilderness, but I figured I might pointed out to those who want a fully loaded Wilderness. You might want to look into getting the $2,270 option package 23, which again would give you the Harman Kardon sound system, the sunroof, and the power driver's seat. So if that is something that you're looking into getting, you might want to look into getting the option package 23. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. I suggest you take a look over the safety stuff, take a look at the couple options that this vehicle has, as well as the fuel economy and all these, everything that you get as standard. But basically, I'm just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 Crosstrek Wilderness is spec'd is $34,086. And in my opinion, considering what its competition is with, I believe, the Jeep Compass Trailhawk and the Ford Bronco Sport and so on and so forth, those are quite a bit more expensive than this. And I think this is more comfortable. I think this thing looks pretty good as well. Definitely, in my opinion, looks better than the previous Crosstrek, like the 2023 and below. I think this has just got sharper lines. I like the way the lights look better and stuff like that. And plus, it's just a great driving experience. It drives great. It is a little bit slow, but really, it's quick enough, you know, for what you need to do. But I want to show you what we got going on in these rear seats before moving into the driving portion of the video. So, taking a look at the door panel back here, again, very basic. You get some satin black, some satin gray up top, then you get a manual, or not a manual window, but basically your window goes all the way down and you have to hold it down in order for it to go all the way down. You also get a spot you could set a phone, you get a padded armrest, a spot you could set a cup, or a water bottle, and a little bit of miscellaneous storage space, as well as a speaker. Now I'm gonna fold this seat up. This is what your second row seats look like. Stepping on into the second row, you get a center fold down armrest with 2 cup holders. That is what that looks like. And then you can see you also get a nicely padded armrest as well. Up top here, you get an OPU panel and a spot you could set your dry cleaning. You also get a dome light here in the second row. And then over here, you also get another OPU panel and another spot you could set your dry cleaning. I apologize for the terrible lighting. And then I am 5'9" and I am adjusted behind myself. I've got plenty of knee and leg room, honestly more than you would expect a vehicle like this to have. Here's another view of my knee and leg room. And then when it comes to headroom, I'd say I probably have another, 2 to 3 inches of headroom. However, let's say I squash down a little bit, then you can have basically unlimited headroom in a way. But you do get a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. And when it comes to connectivity, you get a USB-C port and a USB-A port back here, and both of which are illuminated. And then again, you also get the all-weather floor mats back here as standard with the Wilderness. But that kind of about does it for the review of the Wilderness, at least talking about the exterior, the performance, and now what we got going on here in the interior. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, and now on to the driving portion of the video. I always start my videos here. We go over these speed bumps at 5 miles an hour, and then I rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. Nothing will ever be a 10 because perfection does not exist in this world. Very well over the first one. Test the low end torque. It's pretty decent. I'm gonna slow down a little bit. We're gonna go 5 miles an hour. That's 5 right there. I'm gonna give this thing a 8 flat on a scale of 1 to 10. It did very well, and I can tell that it is ready to absorb some bumps. However, it is on the firmer side of things. I just got out of doing a video with an Outback Touring. I almost feel like the Outback, I know the Outback went over those just a little bit better. I'm not complaining by any means, but yeah. Now we're gonna take a right. That's a C5 Z06. It is not a Z06, but it's a fixed roof coupe. Actually, it is a Z06. Now, here's a nice little 50% throttle. And I'm gonna let off because we're getting the light. I will have to say, I do like the brake feel. It's a very linear brake feel. Not too firm, but it's got just the right amount of, pushback, if you know what I'm saying. So I actually really like the brake feel. It feels very easy to brake because this thing is on the lighter side. There's an STI right there. But I really enjoy the way that this thing drives. The seats themselves are very comfortable. The size of this vehicle is nice because it's not too big, but it's not too small at the same time. Here's another acceleration. Here's a 50%. And that is the acceleration, 50% acceleration on the Crosstrek Wilderness. So I will have to say, listening to the road noise, I feel like the road noise is a little bit louder on this as compared to the Sport or the Limited, and I think that is probably due in part to the aggressive tires. So if you're looking at getting a Limited or you're looking at getting a Wilderness, I will say that if you're not going to be going or doing any sort of off-roading, then the Limited might be the one to get, because I feel like it's a little bit quieter when it comes to cruising. I also, you know, you get, if you're not a fan of the satin black cladding, you get a little bit less of that satin black cladding also on the Limited as well. However, if you're going to be doing any sort of off-roading, you're going to be going through mud, you know, relatively often, maybe going over some rocky terrain and stuff like that, and you're living in some a snowy area, then the Wilderness might be the one you want to get, because it's literally built to do off-roading. It's literally built to go through the snow. And I'm not saying that the Limited or the Sport isn't capable of doing that. You know, when it comes to the Sport and the Limited in the snow, they're going to be doing great in the snow if you get a nice tire on them. However, when it comes to rock climbing, or, you know, any sort of rocky terrain or any sort of muddy terrain, you know, this has the advantage because it's got a little bit of a lift. It's got the 0.6 of an inch lift, so 9.3 inches of ground clearance. Make sure nobody's coming, because that guy ran that red light. This is just overall more capable out of the box. Obviously, you can put money into, you know, the Sport or the Limited and make those off-road capable as well. But again, if you just want something out of the box with a warranty, then the Wilderness is the one to get, because it still behaves very well on road. I don't feel like it's too jarring going over bumps. It honestly feels very similar ride-wise to the Sport and the Limited. So nothing to complain about when it comes to that kind of stuff. I do like the way that this thing looks. However, for me, I think I would prefer either a Limited or a Sport. Probably a Limited, just because you don't get that yellow accenting that you get on the Sport, and then also you get the less cladding on the Limited, which I like. However, if I was going to be doing any off-roading or anything like that, then the Wilderness be the one that I would get. I also do think that it is pretty cool that you get a Wilderness now on the Crosstrek. But now take a listen to what this sounds like cruising at about 60, going over some bridge joints. Listen to the road and the wind noise. I also wanted to say that I feel, and I've said this in the other videos that I've done with the other Crosstreks I've done videos with, I feel like this has better sound insulation than the 2023s and the 2022s, because with the redesign, I feel like they just added a little bit more sound deadening, because it sounds quieter road noise and wind noise wise. Just from my personal experience. And then also, I really do like this screen. The only thing that I don't like about the screen, I like the screen because it's very intuitive. What I don't like about the screen is that you don't get really any physical climate control buttons other than the temperature controls, which I'll take that as a win, and then also the front and the rear defrosters. However, I would like to see, and last thing I would like to see would be a fan speed control. You know, just easy fan speed. I know this is very easy to do, but sometimes the screen can glitch and then you don't get access into that. You know, when you first turn the vehicle on, you don't get access into the screen. So if it's blasting, you know, cold air or something like that, and you don't want it to be blasting any sort of air, it's going to take you a few seconds in order to press agree and then turn the fan speed off. So if you just had a physical control, you could just turn it off immediately. So that's kind of a gripe with the screen. A couple other gripes that I would maybe have, I wouldn't say maybe a gripe, but I would say the sound system could be a little bit better, the standard sound system. And I always complain about the standard Subaru sound systems just because they're not amazing. They could be worse, but they could be better. Is that a Durango? Oh, it's an SRT. Moving from there, if you wanted a better sound system, you would want to look into getting option package 23, I believe it is, which would give you, I believe it's option package 23. Let me make sure. Option package 23, yes. It would give you the Harman Kardon sound system, it'd give you the sunroof, and it would also give you a power driver's seat. So I think option package 23 is worth it. It is a little bit pricey, but then that basically makes this thing fully loaded. You know what I'm saying? You get the power driver's seat, which in my opinion makes a big difference, because I feel like you can kind of get your seat more exact to what you want with the slower increments of a power driver's seat as compared to the manual driver's seat. But I'm just nitpicking at that point. Here's a little passing acceleration at about 50. floored. So if you wanted to pass somebody, that is what it's like at about whatever speed I started at, to about 65. So that is that. Now here is like a 50% throttle acceleration at about 50. You all are always asking to see what it's like passing wise. So there's a little couple passing accelerations. So yeah, I think it's a nice vehicle. I really like the way that the 9-3 grip feels in my hand. I like the size of the steering wheel. It's just like the perfect size steering wheel. I feel very confident. Now when it comes to maneuvering, I feel like it's got good maneuvering, you know, not too much body roll. There is a little bit of body roll, but obviously, you know, this is not the Sport. This is the Wilderness. It's got the lift. So that's kind of what you would expect. But when it comes to high-speed maneuvering, I feel like you would feel pretty confident in the maneuvering abilities at higher speeds with the Wilderness. Now, again, it might not be, you know, maneuver-wise as good as the Sport or the Limited, but I think you'll feel confident in it. And now, at this light, I'm gonna do another little floored acceleration. So we're gonna go throughout this turn, test the handling a little bit. Handling's pretty good. Now here's floored to about 45, 50. That's 50 right there. So you can see, again, not the fastest thing, but you know, if you're just looking for something that's relatively efficient, that you can have fun with off-road, you can pretty much tackle any sort of terrain that you're going to throw at it, then the Wilderness is the trim level for you. So it's very comfortable when cruising. You know, it just behaves like a regular Crosstrek at this point. Goes over bumps nicely. It's very easy to park. You get the backup camera, you get the backup sensors, you get a ton of safety features as standard. And then you also get this nice big screen. And then also I just like the outline around the speedometer and the tachometer. I think that's pretty cool as well. But really, that's about it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot reach my goal without your support. Again, I put a lot of time and effort into making these videos for you guys, so I can be of help if you are actually interested in purchasing a vehicle. So again, if you enjoyed any part of this video, if you learned anything from this video, please just take a second, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. I am going to reiterate that the likes and comments look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and again, that is what helps me grow. So I'd appreciate it if you guys would do that stuff. But again, that's it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Floored. Peace.